Good evening and welcome back to the Adventures in Lollygagging. I am Aaron, your Doom Master. Once again, we're going to be playing Modiphius's 2D20 Conan, an age undreamed of, as we continue our Hyborian tales. So let me give you a little bit of a recap of what happened 2 weeks ago. Our brave and heroic adventurers were fleeing through a mountain cavern passageway from a celestial dragon that was sicked on them by the court and emperor of Kitai for crimes against Kitai. They felt that they were getting away until the celestial dragon used magic on a level that Sobek had never experienced or even considered before, and literally squeezed the mountain around them. The tunnel began to collapse, and the floor cracked open, and they found themselves in an underground river, submerged, pelting along, until it opened up into a great waterfall where they began to fall and fall and fall, falling so long that they thought perhaps it would never end, all the while being attacked by these ravenous packs of razor wings, these horrible demonic bat-like things that were shredding their flesh. And then they pounded into this black, freezing sea. Darkness above, darkness below, no way to tell what was going on. They followed their bubbles towards the surface. Fortunately for them, nothing came to investigate what had fallen from the waterfall. They were greeted on the surface by lights and a man speaking in an Aquilonian accent saying, Come to the boat." And he brought them on board, letting them know that they were in a cavern with no exits, a great underground inland sea. He took them back to the village, a village of degenerated, bizarre mutants of some sort with fish-like appearances, who were apparent servants or servitors or fodder for dwellers in the deep, which they had not yet seen. They were told that they could stay within the village. They were told of a mission from the Aquilonian University, a scholarly search for the city, because they had found a man who had popped up into their grand library, who claimed that he had been here and traveled down into this drowned city of Sarcomand and found a way to a well and through a well into another world altogether, a fantastical world where he apparently lived for years until he accidentally opened a door and walked through it into Aquilonia. There was enough evidence on the man, a moonstone pendant, a black iron dagger made of a material never found in Hyboria, that made them set out with this expedition. Their expedition made it into the cavern, up high on the ceiling near the roof, where they were ambushed by these cavern creatures, forcing their people into the water. Of the 30 who were in the expedition, a little over 20 went into the water. And by the time our heroes met them, only 5 were left, others having succumbed to the horrors within the cavern. They were told to always carry light on them, for if they did not have light, the creatures that feed in the dark would strike without warning. And we left as they were setting sail on the ship once again to continue to map out the sunken city of Sarcomand, to try to find this chimney or this bifurcated tower that would allow them to delve deeper into the city and perhaps find an exit, because there is no exit from this cavern otherwise. They went out that first day, and they came back. Sobek, using his sorcery and his skills, searching the waters, could never, in that first day, found a room of air within the city, but no passage from it that was not flooded. No way a normal person could get through. And so he came back up, and then sleep after sleep, they continued to go out. For 40 sleep cycles, these adventurers have been in this cavern, in this endless night, surrounded by dark, the only light from the globes they carry, the strange, vacant looks of these villagers following them always, the eerie feeling that if they misstepped just a little, these villagers perhaps would offer them up to the dwellers in the deep. In fact, during those 40 sleeps, some have succumbed. Jermin Juntz, one of the survivors of the Aquilonian forces, was walking from his domicile down to the common eating area carrying his lighted globe, but he had been lazy the day before and had not replaced it because he hated to go to the Lightbringer's chamber. It disgusted him. And as he walked down the stairs, his globe went out. Everyone heard his scream and rushed to where they thought he would be. And when they got there, all they saw was a skeleton from the waist up, just strings of flesh and muscle and hair hanging off of it. And then from the waist down, legs encased in pants and his boots, as the light from everyone converging on him drove the razor wings away. But he was not the only one to fall. Ignacio and Etienne Lagasse were on the ship with you. This may have been the 10th or 12th sleep. And a great tentacled beast rose up and scooped them off the deck with several of the villagers. And into the black waters they went, never to be seen again. And so the group of 5 was down to 2. The Countess Alexandra Kirawan and Malachi Martins, the man who helped you on that when you fell into the cavern. Sadly, the Countess Kirawan fell ill while you were out on the ship one day, perhaps the 25th or 26th sleep. And when you returned, you had found that her fever had grown bad enough that the villagers had taken her into the chamber of the Giver of Light. And they had plastered her against the wall and fed her the virus. And as you docked, you heard her screaming as she began to split open the new bringer in light. And so now, after 40 sleeps in this endless night, in this hell, where a simple mistake will end your life, it is just you 5 and Malachi Martins, who make your way out once again on the boat to another area of sunken Sarcomand in the hopes of finding some way to free yourselves from this hell. You can't even really remember what sunlight felt like or what true light is. You don't remember the taste of good food. You've only been feeding off of fungus and fish and a horrible mushroom beer. Afraid to drink the water, even the fresh water, after what you had been told happened to some of the other earlier adventurers from Aquilonia who became like the villagers after drinking the water. So, Aurelia, you're on the ship, the 40th time you've been on this ship. Tell us about your character. Tell us what Aurelia is thinking and feeling.
So Aurelia is very used to being out in the forest, in the wilds, of having sky above her to observe. And she's trying to keep her sanity in the sense of she's been, as best she can, keeping track of the moon phases as they should be based off her sleeps, to try and have a better grasp of time. But she is starting to form some sort of kind of claustrophobia, just feeling this cave further and further encroach upon her, and not having access to the open sky and fresh air, or like being able to go out and catch her own food or anything to that extent. So she's been very morose and kind of quiet, but also obsessive with keeping track of the phases of the moon.
Would there be any person that Aurelia would be sharing her concerns with or speaking with more amongst your group?
I think maybe Roya at this point. Her and Zamir, really bonded over Mother Wisp, but with kind of her separation from Sobek, with her disappointment of what had happened with that village, she probably would start to interact more with Roya and even Drusus.
So, Roya, how has this 40-day or 40 sleeps of darkness affected you?
Yeah, so Roya, I would say, initially was sort of contemplating the separation from Ben, her kind of trusted donkey who had been, kind of traveling far and wide with Roya, kind of over all of this time. And so probably early on, that was sort of a bit of her focus. And then after that, I would say that she's kind of trying to do her best as Aurelia's, kind of starting to, kind of be stressed by kind of our surroundings and all of these kinds of things. She's kind of trying to utilize some of her, kind of talents in this area. So she does have comforting lies that she kind of tries to use, for, connected to traumas and different things like that. And then I would say that really she's trying to kind of map this area to the best that she can. And she knows that there's, kind of work that's been done with that, but that's, always been something for her. She's got a great sense of direction. She's traveled so much. She's always able to sort of find her way back to where she needs to go. And so really just trying to get her bearings and kind of get her orientation here. So kind of very much about kind of that spatial awareness. So whereas, kind of Aurelia's feeling compacted by everything, Roy is really trying to kind of take in every nook and cranny and crack and all of that and really kind of get a good sense of all of the details.
And as you're mapping all of this out and working through all these spaces and trying to understand it, is there anyone amongst your party that you're turning to for help with that?
I would say that perhaps with kind of trying to be quiet about this process, because there's sort of all of these rules and different things that sort of go on here. And so I would say, Zamir is able to sort of help us with being quieter than we are naturally ourselves. So that would be what I would say.
So we find Zamir and you speaking on the ship as it moves out over to the area. Zamir, you break away your eyes, you're scanning the darkness, this impenetrable darkness. You can only see the distance of your globes of your light. Old habits die hard. How has Zamir been adapting to this new way of living?
I think Zamir began as a very optimistic. I think he was, and I think that he is one who feels fortune and luck and skill would get him through. However, it's been 40 days, or perhaps longer, and we have not seen the sun. And while Zamir has always been one who's very accustomed to the shadows, this is taking it to a level that is perhaps a bit uncomfortable for even him, for he has heard the stories of people going into the shadows without the light and what has befallen them. And the very places where Zamir functions well has been in those shadows without that light. But I think a part of him might be a little afraid, in fact, that there is something there that is better, more accustomed to the shadows than he is. So I think he has probably been more spending time with Roya, making sure he has a backup. He has ensured that he's not necessarily going everywhere alone, although he functions best probably by himself. I don't think he is doing well. I think I think his mental is perhaps being reflected a bit in his physical. He has not seen the sun in some time. His skin is pale. His hair has grown oily and thick, and this has bothered him. So I don't think he is. I don't think he is as positive and as dashing as he has been in the past.
So as we fade away from Zamir, as he's scanning the darkness, we glance over and we see Sir Drusus Jolden. What would Sir Drusus Jolden be doing on the boat at this point, and how has this 40 days affected him?
Yes, my hair is more disheveled. My facial hair is unkept. I've been trying to become or gather the title of the Fish Lord for these villagers. So I'm trying to get them as my servants. I'm offering what they can for their services. So every time the boat comes back, I want them to greet me, want them to bathe me, wash my clothes, try to get them to get me a next platter of fish, another mushroom ale, all those sort of things. Try to get them under my serving.
And you found that they do respond to your commands, almost as if they were bred to be servants themselves. But you've also found that they're cloying and cold touch, and it's very uncomfortable when they're close to you and they're caring for you. You almost feel like they're sizing you up, that they're waiting for you to make one single mistake and that then you would join them. So although you've succeeded in your goal, you found that it's harder for you to sleep and harder for you to relax, because having been in their close company so much more than the rest, you are sensing a level of maliciousness in them that the others might not have picked up on. And then that leads us to the final member of our group, Sobek. What is this 40 days or 40 sleeps meant for Sobek here within the darkness?
Greetings, mortals. I find myself quite frustrated. Success has never been difficult for me, despite the great adversity that I have faced in my life. I am no stranger to suffering or discomfort, but this failure I find quite unacceptable. And knowing how crucial my shape-shifting abilities are to our success, I have been displacing my frustration towards the rest of the group, those who have been less useful in our search.
So at this moment, you've been out on the boat probably for what feels like 4 or 5 hours, about half the amount of time you normally stay out searching over a different area of sunken Sarcomand. Malachi Martins is with you. The ship is crewed by these villagers. Once again, they do exactly what they're told to do, nothing more. But you get the unnerving feeling that there's more to them, or more that they would like to do. Sobek, you're on the boat at the moment. Who would you be arguing with at the moment?
I would likely be arguing with Roya or Drusus.
Let's hear it.
At what point will we stop worrying about our appearance and instead put our energy towards survival and escape?
My appearance. Does my hair and my look kept?
You flitter about with those villagers every chance you get, asking them to serve you. This is a time for discomfort. We must go without so that we may succeed, so that we may live.
Discomfort. I've been in the most discomfort I've been in my life. These mere servants merely answer my call.
It is a waste of time and energy, and it does nothing but hold us back.
What do you have me do then? We've been searching for nothing, just darkness here.
That is true. You make a valid point. You are useless. Why are you with us?
Ah, so when the next fishman comes through your head, it won't be laying on the floor.
Well, we have yet to see if you can succeed at that. All I know is that you like commanding the brainless.
And at that point, Malachi yells out, pointing over the edge. He's leaning over the edge with his globe in one hand, pointing out. He's like, I think this is what he described. It's not a chimney, it's some broken tower, but I think this is it. And at that very moment, his head splits in half as a great coral spear is shoved through his mouth and explodes out the back of his head as dwellers in the deep begin to storm your boat. You see these dwellers, the larger dwellers, there's 5 of them. They stand about 6 feet tall. They're hulking with very long arms and great webbed clawed hands. They've got gills coming off of the side of their face and these large elastic mouths filled with rows and rows of shark-like teeth and these great black eyes. And they shudder forward on these webbed feet, hissing and weaving. And for every one of these great dwellers, there's 4 or 5 lesser dwellers with them. And you notice, everybody give me an observation check. Just difficulty 1.
One success.
Fail.
Three successes for Zamir.
Zamir did well. Sobek got a success. Arroyo got 2 successes. You only needed 1, so you guys are up to 3 points of momentum. And what you all notice, except for Arroyo, I mean, you're just taken aback by this horrible assault. The rest of you see that all of the villagers, they just sit down on their haunches and sort of roll their faces forward so their heads are touching the deck, almost as if they are bowing to these creatures. Almost as if now that they have you out here, that perhaps it is time for the true masters of the cavern to take their place. What do? They're coming for you with these great coral knives and spears.
I feel like Roya didn't see it because she was just in the mood to be snotty. And so she was turning around to Sobek and just being like, do you feel better? You have something that you can go like attack now? And then she kind of missed the reveal.
I like it. I need everybody, as you see them coming up, everybody to make a discipline check. Just difficulty 1.
Fail again for Roya.
1 success.
Glad I used that momentum. 1 success.
Okay.
When I roll discipline, I can re-roll 1 die. So can I re-roll that 20?
Yes.
It's not a critical fail. Not a complication.
Yep. Okay, so you end up getting an extra point of momentum from Sobek. Those of you who succeeded are okay. But Royal, because you were kind of taken aback, you really weren't. This is just not sinking in. One of them is just right in front of you, and it opens its mouth so wide you think it could literally swallow you whole. And this hideous croaking noise just comes out at you, and the fetid smell of, and you would think fish, but no, this smells like meat. This smells like flesh. This smells the charnel stench of a death pit. You take what's your soak, your mental soak? Do you have any courage?
No.
Okay, so you take 4 points of damage to your mental, to your resolve, that is, sorry. But it's not
Okay.
enough to give you a trauma. As you face off against this horrible fear from this thing. But you guys are up. You basically have 5 discrete packs of these things. You also, as a reminder, have a clear shot at this tower or chimney in the water.
The dwellers finally showed themselves. And I'm going to charge at them.
Okay.
I'm going to pull out my harpy and start slashing at the nearest one.
Okay, so you use your minor action to pull out your weapon and swing away.
Three successes, 2 momentum.
Nice. Do you want to do anything with the momentum?
Yeah, I'm going to spend the 2 to hit a secondary target for half damage.
Nice. Okay. Roll your damage.
Let's see. So I'm able to re-roll, I think, because of my talent here.
Yep.
Just 1 damage dice. So I'll re-roll that.
Okay, nice.
So 6 total damage.
Now you find that because they're soaked and they've got this slime on them, they actually can't catch fire. So the incendiary won't have an effect. But you did do 6. They do have some armor, though, so that takes it down to 4 on the primary. And what happens is 2 of these lesser things jump in front of the greater dweller in the deep. One of them gets grievously injured as you slice into its abdomen, and intestines start to loop out. But it's still on its feet, and the other one is grazed. But still also standing.
That's it for me.
Okay. If we're fighting, then Zamir will target. So one of the how many? You said there were 4 or 5 of the great dwellers.
There's 5 of the great dwellers, so there's 5 groups of these. So there's basically 5 mobs, and the way mobs work in Conan for the people walking in home, listening at home. The leader of the mob is the last one standing. So you have to take out the minions within the mob before you can really get at the leader of the mob, unless you've got a special ability or something that allows you to target the leader specifically.
So that's about 25.
Yeah,
Right?
It's a lot of them.
Okay. Well, I mean, if Drusus is fighting, Zamir will back him up. And he will target one of these great dwellers. I think I'm
the same group or a different group.
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah. Okay. Can I, are we in close enough proximity that like I don't necessarily have to use my minor action to move around, or like are we like
yeah.
Okay.
You guys, nobody has to use your minor action to move at all. You're in very cramped quarters here. It's like a mosh pit.
I'm going to make use of a new talent. I got battlefield perception. So during combat, I can choose one enemy, and so I'm going to choose the great dweller that Drusus just attacked. It can make an average observation test as a minor action. If successful, I can determine how much of the target's stress remains and how many harms the target is suffering from. And if I can repeat that if I spend more momentum. I can choose I can choose additional foes, I should say. So let me do that. Let's see.
I like it.
That might make me consider some things. And there's really just one that's taken damage, so I'm just gonna roll normal. This game just hates me. That's a success, but I also did roll another d20, so that's a complication. I've rolled more natural 20s in this game than I have ever rolled in any game in my entire life.
Definitely the wrong system for you. I'm going to take a point of doom for that at the moment.
Sure.
But you did get a success. So what I'll tell you is, and I'll give you a little bit extra information just because I'm feeling generous. The greater dwellers in the deep have 12 vigor, and they can take 2 wounds. Their minions have 7 vigor.
Okay. All right, 7 vigor. And did the Great Dweller take any harm already from
No.
Zeus's attack? Okay.
No, just two of his minions did.
All right, then I'll target the same one then, if that's the case.
Okay. Absolutely.
And I will burn one of my fortune points to take. So I'm going to end up having to take 2 actions here, two regular actions. One of them I'm going to do is exploit, as I normally do, and then I will fling a dagger, I suppose, at this one.
Now, this is one of those instances, since Zamir is taking the exploit action and specifically targeting one of the greater dwellers in the deep, this is an instance where I will allow him to attack it directly because he's taking an extra action to target it, basically. So,
perfect. All right. Okay, so let me. So it's going to be because of my normal abilities. I can my talents and stuff. I can roll my stealth, so I'm going to use my dagger for this. I'll do 1 momentum on the hit, on the to hit, just to see if I can get us up some more. Skill is stealth. Okay. All right, so that is 4 successes.
Nice.
So was it just difficulty 1?
Yep, just difficulty 1 for your awareness check.
So
did you already?
But this is for the attack. I'm making an attack.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
it's just
That's right. I gotta do for the exploit action. I gotta do observation. That's right. Sorry. Let me do that. So many observation tests. I'll do the same thing. I'll use a momentum just to be sure. Okay. 1 success. Okay.
Yep.
Whew, that was
Perfect.
close. Okay.
Okay. So
do you want me to re-roll my attack?
No, you're good.
Okay.
You're good. So you only needed 1 success. So yeah, the rest of it, the other 3, you've got 3 points of momentum to play with there if you want to.
I'll probably use it on damage. Okay, so then
Now exploit gives it penetrating 2 and vicious, right?
it adds intense and vicious, I believe.
Intense and vicious. Okay.
Penetrating, I think it already has by default.
Yep, that's right.
So let me roll my damage. So this is going to be, what is it? Bonus damage. I'm going to say I'm going to use 3 momentum for bonus damage.
And remember, that's not those aren't extra dice. That's just 3 extra points of damage.
I'm putting it into the system. And and there we go. So I will go ahead and then I have an ability that lets me change everything basically to an effect. So my talent, I think it's my Death Dealer talent will let me.
Yep.
Nope, not Death Dealer. Assassin will let me change basically everything in the dice pool as an effect instead of what was actually rolled. So it's basically 4 points. So all of that's effects. So 4 damage plus vicious plus intense plus piercing.
Okay, so you get past its armor. It goes to 8 points of damage, which would be 1 wound. But because it's intense, you give it. It takes 2 wounds.
Exactly.
So describe how you slay this first greater dweller in the deep.
So
what's it look like?
Drusus charges in, swings, kind of gets tangled up with these other small ones. And I think at that point, Zamir will kind of just very carefully and very deftly spin around for once finally getting to use like the shadows to his benefit. And as those that are tangling up with Drusus, he'll just spin quickly and just bury a dagger right in what would be the equivalent of the back of this thing's neck, almost like a backhand swing, and then pull it out, splurt of whatever blood these things might have, and then he'll stare at Drusus. Aim more carefully, my friend.
And actually, when you pull it out, it doesn't even spurt. It's like this thick, semi-coagulated black viscous fluid that just kind of oozes out, but it just drops. It folds like an accordion to the deck of the ship, And at that point, you see the lesser dwellers, its minions, the 4 that were surrounding it. They let out this pitiful croak. They grab it and they pull the body back into the water and slip over the side. Would anybody else like to? There's 4 more groups left.
He wipes the
I'll have a
Band-Aid
go.
off on Sobek's shirt.
With a ranged attack, can I target the greater, or do I still have to go for the minions?
What kind of ranged attack are you doing?
A spell.
A spell, you have to take a minor action to prep the spell. That will be enough for you, allow you to target. Yes, you can target one of the greater ones. It's
Okay.
really like physical combat where you really have to mow through the minions. If you're
Well,
taking
and I'm
multiple
casting
actions,
a new spell that I've not cast before, Dismember. And I will be targeting one of the graders. I will be spending a fortune and 1 momentum as well. So that
Wow.
is 4 momentum. I will spend 3 of it to add Vicious 3,
Mhm.
and then 1 to add I'm sorry, I'll spend 2 for Vicious 2 and then 2 to add more effect dice.
Okay.
So how do I roll the effect dice? It didn't give me an option to do that.
It's just add dice. Where when you pull up the spell, towards the bottom, it's like it'll say add dice. I think. Let me pull up your character real quick.
Let me try casting again, but I didn't see anything pop up.
Okay.
Yeah.
You may not have it entered in. Just roll your total number of d6s that you would roll down here at the bottom, and we'll count it up. If they come up with
It will
6,
be
we have it.
6.
Okay, you got 1 effect. So that's, and you said Vicious 2?
Vicious 2.
Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 points of damage. Did it have any other effects on it?
Nope, that was it.
7 points of damage. Okay, so describe what the spell looks like as you target this guy.
As he is moving forward on deck, invisible forces begin tugging and pulling at him, pulling his limbs, and you see the flesh is beginning to tear and rend away from itself.
Okay.
Ow.
So did you cast that as a ranged attack?
It counts as ranged close, yes.
Yeah, but okay. So in the you could set it up as a ranged attack, and then you could add your effect dice in later. That's fine. So,
Okay.
so
I'll try to
you
do that.
rend at this thing, and you tear at it, and you cause this grievous wound across it, and it does take 1 wound, but it is still on its feet. And that leaves us with Roya or Aurelia.
So Roya is going to kind of try to go up to one of these flavor wise. What she would like to do is she would like to take her staff and she would like to kind of have one of these things trying to bite her. And she wants to try to like shove her staff in to like keep the mouth open so that Aurelia has like a target to like shoot an arrow into.
Okay, so you're basically assisting Aurelia on an attack. I like it.
So would
Okay.
that be like a melee kind of thing, or what would that be?
Yeah, just give me a melee attack with the staff. Just difficulty 1. As long as you succeed, you will pry open its mouth, and that will give Aurelia a free d20 on her attack against this creature.
Okay.
Now, I'll tell you this. Are you targeting... do you want to target one of the big guys or one of its
Yes.
minions? Okay,
I'd
let's
like
make
to
it a
target the big guys.
difficulty 3 then. Difficulty
Oh.
3. because you're basically trying to you're knocking its minions out of the way and directly attacking it. So that's more difficult.
Don't forget about fortune, etc.
Yeah, I'll do 1 fortune and 1 momentum.
Okay. Okay.
So hopefully that will yield good things. Three successes.
That's exactly what you needed. So, Aurelia, you see Roya just knock a couple of these minions out of the way, jam the mouth open of this large dweller, and then she sort of glances over her shoulder and gives you that little smile that says, batter up.
All right, yeah. So I no longer have my super cool fancy bow, but I do still have my old faithful. So yeah, she always has her bow on her back, so she pulls that out really quickly, gets a shot loaded. And then I can't remember, can we spend the audience die for an additional action? Was that something?
For
It's
damage.
effects.
Yep.
Just damage. Got it. Okay, cool. Yeah, so then I'm gonna shoot.
Of course, you can also give me Doom if you want to for extra D20s.
That is true.
I think it's worth it.
I'm just saying.
Because then if you might get some extra momentum back.
A bonus one from you. I'll spend a momentum.
It's up to 4.
Yeah. How do I get an additional? Oh, there we go. Okay. Cool. So 5 successes.
5 successes. So you've got 4 points of momentum. You can bank it or you can use it. What would you like to do as this arrow flies down the gullet of this dweller in the deep?
So I want to spend at least 2 for bonus damage.
Okay. So that's plus 2 damage, not plus 2 dice. So just
Yes.
plus 2.
Yeah, and then I want to spend 2 because it says 2 to 3 to disarm. So I would like to disarm it if it's still standing.
Okay. So it has a spear. So it will take 3 points of momentum to disarm it. So you have to spend a total of 5 points of momentum. Or give me a point of doom and spend 4 points of momentum.
I'll give you a doom for fun.
All right. I think it's fun.
You know, keep it exciting.
You gotta keep it exciting.
So then for damage, I would like 2 bonus dice, Mo, from our pool.
Okay.
And I'm gonna spend a momentum.
Holy crap. Okay.
And then because I have the talent accurate, I can re-roll. There we go. I thought I could re-roll more than one. But
I thought you could re-roll all of them. I think you can re-roll all of the dice.
You have to select them individually, though. You got to do each.
Oh.
You only hit one of the die.
Go ahead and do it again. Go ahead and do it again. It's fine.
It won't let me on the thing, but I had 2 more to do.
Oh, here, you can do it up top there. No, maybe you won't. Okay, yeah, just roll 2d6 then. Okay, nice. So that's an effect on one, 2 on the other. Okay, so that's 11.
Plus my 2 that I spent.
12, 13. So were you were striking it, one of them wasn't injured, correct?
Yeah, the one that Roya had prepped.
Okay. So describe what it looks like when you kill this one.
So she's not really anticipating killing it, so she just does exactly what Roya preps for her, and as Roya's ripping the staff out of the thing's mouth while it's still open, she gets it between a gap in between the teeth and the soft fleshy part of the top of its mouth, and kind of embeds in its brain.
And the force of the blow actually kind of lifts it up on its heels, and it splashes down in the water off of the boat. And its minions follow it over the side, croaking as well. And now it's their turn. There are 3 mobs left. And there are 5 of you. So I'm going to roll a d5 here. I'm going to roll a d10. 1, 2 Aurelia, 3, 4 Drusus, 5, 6 Sobek, 7, 8 Roya, 9, 10 Zamir. Zamir, the first group, turns at you, and they strike out. This one is coming at you actually with its claws. It
They see the
enraged.
threat. Yes.
Yeah, they know. And it strikes out with its envenomed claws raking at you. Hold on, I gotta. This is one that has not been injured yet. And it is going to attack. And I will go ahead and spend a point of doom to get a bonus dice here. Six successes. So
That misses. Sorry. You needed 7.
damn it. I really thought that I was going to be okay there. All right. I'm going to just take plus 3 points of damage for the 3 momentum. Piercing 1. What's your armor look like?
On my arm, it's 1. I have 1 armor soak on my arm, so it goes through.
So it goes through your arm. That's 2, 3 points of physical damage. Not a lot, but you are grabbed by this thing.
Got it.
And the other one of the other ones that has not been damaged is going to attack someone else. We'll do a D8 on this one. Could have done a D4, and it's coming from Sir Drusus Jolden. Recognizing perhaps the knight for what he is going to strike out. But this one, as he comes closer with his minions, his mouth just gapes open, and you hear this horrible, hideous croaking noise as it washes over you. Okay, 4 successes. Only needed 1. Do you have any courage?
No.
No courage. Okay, we'll just add a 3 extra on damage. So you take 7 points of resolve damage. So you take 7 points of resolve damage and a trauma. So make sure you mark the trauma box off there. And you are potentially stunned. So I need to really quick look stunned up. I believe it's a resistance check, but
Can I ignore it if I give you doom?
can you ignore it?
It says I can ignore it if the target may ignore this effect at the cost of 1 doom for each effect dice.
Oh yeah, you actually can.
Okay. Nice.
So yeah, for just 1 point of doom, yes, you can.
Yeah, have that one, please.
Fantastic. Okay, so you feel this wash over you. It's a very traumatic experience. It's terrifying. I mean, you're in the dark. This thing is just basically its entire mouth opened up large enough to swallow you whole. And it shakes you a bit. How are you looking on resolve right now?
It drops me down to 2, so I wince. I'll remember that name.
And the third one, the one that was injured, takes its coral knife out, speaks in some god-awful croaking language, and plunges the knife into its own heart in sacrifice. And at that moment, you feel something strike the bottom of the boat, enough to lift it out of the water and crack the keel as tentacles begin to move over it. A stunted Leviathan has entered the combat. It's the top of round 2.
Oh, fuck.
What do you do?
What exactly is
That's
a
bad.
stunted Leviathan?
It's a creature of such immense size that it can't truly be imagined. It can't be killed. It can only be driven off. And in fact, it doesn't so much attack you as you have to avoid just dying.
So I feel
But at
like
the moment, it's attacking the ship. So
we should go while it's distracted with the ship, is my thoughts.
Good a thought as any.
What does that
If you
sound
jump-
like? Like what is it like
If
how
you
does
jump, I will
Aurelia
follow.
how does Aurelia like, make that known to the rest of us?
Aurelia makes that known to the rest of you because all you hear is her just swearing as she starts to run to like whatever part of the ship is closest to where the guy Malachi was pointing out where the thing is. And she does this very beautiful, graceful swan dive as she's holding her glowing larva thing. And she's gonna go.
Okay. Give me an athletics test.
I would love to. Does it need to be athletics or acrobatics?
It needs to be athletics.
Fuck, okay.
Swim check, Ashley. It's a swim check.
Okay. I'm gonna spend a fortune because I don't want to get caught in a tentacle right now.
That's smart.
And I have so many things up I can't see. Do we have momentum? No, we
You've
do
got
not.
0 momentum, but you can always give me Doom.
I'm gonna give you Doom because I'm scared.
That's reasonable.
2 successes, 1 momentum. Oh, I got a complication.
Okay. 2 successes. So you do. It's beautiful. I mean, it's a thing of beauty. You run, you dive, you're doing a perfect pike. You're going right down the chimney, and right as you hit the water, your glowing globe pops out of your hands and bobs to the surface as you're diving into complete blackness, but you're pretty sure you're in the chimney as you're swimming downward. Anybody else want to do anything before I get froggy and decide to seize the initiative?
Roya said, if you jump, I will follow. And Aurelia jumped. So Roya will, the one die that had her staff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So she's going to grab her staff back. And so it's going to be like kind of one of those, like where she's holding onto it so that when she jumps in, that it's in front of her as she's like kick paddling kind of behind it.
Okay.
So she goes into the water after Aurelia.
Let's see that athletics test.
Go into what's the quote, Jeff? You go into the water.
Sure. Like shark
I don't know
cage
the
in the water.
There
Shark
we
in the
go.
water. Farewell and adieu to you fair Spanish ladies.
I love that movie.
And adieu, you ladies of Spain.
Saw that in the theater. I was 9. My parents
saw
were
that.
not. That was not a good call on their part.
That was my second movie in a drive-through. I was 4, and my mother was not happy with my father for taking me. Not even a little
good
bit.
times.
Well, the lack of courage is astounding, and I will move towards the edge of the boat and throw myself over while casting Form of a Beast.
Okay, we gotta wait for Roya's athletics roll first.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought she rolled it.
Sorry.
It did not pop
I
up.
got distracted by the
That's okay.
Jaws discussion.
Sorry, I was trying to fill the dead air.
I then contributed to more by I'm gonna fortune this up,
Mhm.
and you got us a momentum, right, Aurelia?
Yes, 1.
Yes, she
All
did.
right. I'm gonna see if I can. Why won't it let me spend it?
No, I just added it in. You should be able to spin it now.
There we go. Okay, I'm clicking the button. Why isn't it working? Come on, roll well. 4 successes,
Ooh.
3 momentum.
Nice.
Nice. So yeah, Roya, it's a thing of absolute beauty. You're like right on Aurelia's heels. Right as she takes off, you're right behind her. You're up. You're both up. You're both coming down. You see Aurelia's globe bob to the surface, but you're right behind her. And Roya, because she did so well in the roll, her light is actually allowing you to see a little bit, Aurelia. So you're not
awesome.
completely in the dark. Bringing us to Sobek and his spellcasting.
Right, and I will, of course, be turning into a crocodile again. Looking
That'll
for the
smell
ability to
water
swim. I'm going to change it to difficulty 2 because it requires a momentum spend anyways. And I will take some of that momentum that we just gained.
You're welcome.
Nice.
4 successes, and I will bank that momentum and just take the ability to swim.
Okay. So you see Sobek's robes shift, his body contorts, you hear the popping of his bones, but you're all used to this. He's been doing this every day for 40 sleeps. And then he slides over the side and into this great chimney or tower right behind Roya.
We'll finish this when I come back.
And
I'm gonna.
and I'm going to spend a point of doom and seize the initiative with my last 2 guys.
I just want to point out as you do that, 3 of you just ditched Zamir, who got grappled and grabbed. So all of you are jumping off the boat, leaving Zamir by himself.
That is true.
So as far as Zamir is concerned, Drus is his only friend now. And for the next 5 seconds, the rest of his life, that's what's going through his mind.
And because you are grappled, the claws just dig into your guts. And you take, man, that's a lot of, that's 8 points of damage to your legs. It just right leg as it just tears in, and it's piercing 4. So I'm pretty sure. So you take a wound.
Oh, I'm out. Don't worry. I take 2. I'm out.
Well, if you're down to 0 vigor, you're not unconscious. You're just all in wound territory at this point. So you've taken 2 wounds. You've got 0 vigor. So you're hurting. You're hurting. Drusus, you see this. You see Zamir's right leg get ravaged by these claws. He's held by this great dweller in the deep. What do? You see Zamir barely hanging on to consciousness as the blood is flowing freely from his leg. I'm sure that won't attract any attention in the water either.
I'm gonna slash at the creature to set him free.
Okay. If you spend a fortune point, I will let you attack the dweller in deep directly instead of having to go through his minions.
I will gladly do so.
All right. You also have 5 points of momentum, just letting you know.
Awesome. I'll go ahead and spend 2 then.
Okay.
Got me
Nice.
5 successes for momentum.
Okay, so you've got 4 points of momentum. To do with as you please, you've landed a solid strike with your harpe.
If he's grappling, does it disarm set him free?
I mean, you can disarm him. Yes, you can spend 3 points of. Well, it's just 2 because he's only using his one-handed weapon. So you can disarm him for 2, and I will say basically that will free Zamir. So you can do your damage, spend 2 points of the momentum to basically free Zamir from the grapple.
I'll go ahead and do that. Damage coming out will be 5 after I reroll 1 for no mercy.
Yep.
Makes it 7.
7, nice. Okay, so some of it is some of his scaly hide stops some of it, but most of it gets through. And you cut a deep, deep gash into this thing, and it falls back, releasing Zamir. Zamir, you're up. The others have gone over the side. Remember, you can spend you can spend momentum to recover vigor.
Yeah. How many more of the great dwellers are up here?
Just 2.
One of them just
The
got
one
knocked
that Drusus just injured greatly, and one that has not been hit.
Okay. Yeah.
But the tentacles of the stunted Leviathan are probing ever closer as well.
Jump after us.
I'm sorry,
You're
I can't
free.
hear you. You're in the water. All of you ditched me.
Bubbly,
Except
bubbly.
for Drusus.
Jump after us.
Drusus is up here. Zamir's not going to leave Drusus. Zamir's he's going to just go down. I think he's going to go ahead and try to take one of these guys out.
Okay.
One of these great dwellers.
Did they exploit again?
I think I'm going to. Yeah, I'm going to have to. So yeah. So I'll. How much momentum do we have? 5.
You got 5.
I am going to momentum second wind to get 5 momentum back. I'm just gonna. I think I can burn it all. Right? It's repeatable. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'm just gonna burn it all to get 5 vigor back.
You can also spend a fortune to ignore your wounds.
Yep.
Yeah, I know that's a lot of fortune I'm spending. I will. Because what's the wound penalty? It's like a.
It would be difficulty 3
wound.
for you. Difficulty 3. You'd have difficulty 3 for any physical actions now.
Okay.
Yeah, if you click over on the wounds on your character sheet, it'll automatically do it for you.
Okay. Sure. I'll spend a fortune point to ignore it.
Yep.
I'll spend another. I'll spend my action to do the exploit. So I'll roll my observation. Then without. I'm not sure how to turn that off. So I'm just going to take my wounds away momentarily. I'll put them back in.
Yep.
Oops. Because I had 2. Okay. So then. Difficulty 1 observation, is that correct?
Correct.
I will give you a doom to take an extra die. Let me roll it. That'll be 2 successes, so I'll bank that second one.
Mm-hmm.
Then I will spend my final fortune to take a second main action and attack one of them up here. With my dagger. So let me do that. I am going to burn that momentum I just got to get a extra die. And I'm going to roll that. That's 3 successes.
Nice.
2
points of momentum.
Yeah. And then I am going to... Do we have any audience dice?
Yes, we have plenty.
All right. I am going to leave that momentum because honestly, the bonus damage is really not that useful for Zamir. It's really more about doing wounds than it is anything else. So I'm going to leave the momentum because I might need it in a sec. So I'm just going to take the bonus die from audience and roll my damage dice that way. I'm going to go ahead and burn the 2 momentum that I got to trigger my other assassin ability to make all of those effects. So it's 7 damage, intense, vicious. So 14 damage.
14?
Right? 14 damage, intense.
So it takes. So describe how you kill this one.
So I think he'll look down at the water and where his so-called friends just left him. He'll look down at his leg and he'll look over at Drusus.
Thank you, my friend. It might be time for you to go, but let me.
And he like in the middle of his sentence, like he's not even paying attention. He just reaches out and with a dagger just stabs one of them right in their face
and pulls it free. I don't think I'm going to get far with this leg. Off you go. Don't worry. Mother Wisp will protect me.
And he's just kind of breathing there.
with that and the Dweller in the Deep falling, its lessers pull its corpse over the side. The one that's left staring at Zamir and Sir Jolden backs up to the edge of this crumbling boat and slips back into the water. If you guys want, as this boat is literally breaking up and being pulled down into the maw of this stunted Leviathan, you can give me an athletics test to try to get into the chimney.
Throw
And
myself
so,
overboard.
Okay, do you want my... Should I put my wounds back before this then?
Fortune lasts the whole
Or-
scene.
Or it lasts the whole scene, yep.
Okay.
You're good until you're down in the
Okay.
chimney.
All right, athletics. All right.
2 success,
nice.
1 momentum.
Yep. So you got
Okay.
a momentum there if you want to use it.
Nah, let's rip it.
And
One
you got it.
success.
Okay. So the two of you go down into the chimney. You vaguely see the light in front of you and Sobek's tail swishing as you are all diving deeper into this chimney. So I need everyone to give me a D1 resistance check, difficulty 1 resistance check as you swim down.
Ooh, I failed.
Pass for Zamir.
pass for Raya.
Oh, I can re-roll dice that weren't success as a hardy of my talent.
Okay.
Holy crap, I passed.
You killed
A
it.
1 and a 2.
Just pass. You got some momentum there, man.
Got the 1 success.
Yep, I just put it on. Okay, so you all succeed. So although you're feeling the pressure of the water, none of you are starting to feel the fatigued effects of approaching drowning as you swim down through this chimney, and you're looking at what looks like a mirror at the bottom, and you push through it and you push into air, and you fall not far, about 12 feet, into a mossy bed, and you're in some sort of chamber within the city of Sarcomand, and you're breathing air. It's a little stale. It's musty. There's, like I said, lichen and things and some sea vegetation that has grown in here that may have traveled down through the chimney. But you are in a room by yourselves. Nothing appears to be pursuing you down through the chimney. You have a moment to catch your breath. What would you like to do or say to one another?
If Aurelia landed first, she'll kind of like roll out further into the room a little bit, and she's there kind of on a knee with her bow out ready to attack anything that may be there as she's waiting for the rest to arrive behind her.
And one by
Roya-
one, you come through. Go ahead.
Sorry, lost the mute button. Once everyone is down there, Roya is going to want to try to do a bind wounds on Zamir's leg.
Okay. And he comes through, and it's ragged. I mean, it tore deep into the muscle. It missed the ligaments, but I mean, it's a pretty bad wound. And at this point, your wounds go back into effect as we're in a new scene now within the city of Sarcomand.
All right, so that's going to be okay. We have some momentum to spend, so that's useful. So then it's going to be a healing, and I'm going to spend a couple momentum. No, I'm going to spend 1 momentum, and I get 2 d20s because of my talent. That is 6 successes and 5 banked momentum.
Nice. So you've alleviated all, at least temporarily, all of Zamir's harm. And everyone at this point, any vigor damage you took or any resolve damage you took, is healed because we've broke from combat now. So that all automatically regenerates at the end of after combat's over. The only things that persist are your wounds and trauma. So Zamir's wounds have been healed, but they're still there. Drusus's trauma has not been dealt with.
And so after Roya is done, kind of binding up Zamir's leg,
For which Zamir will say, "Thank you for your assistance." And he'll stare darkly at everybody, with the exception of Drusus.
Sobek is still a crocodile in the background.
Yeah, I just imagine. I
Samir
think
stares darkly at this crocodile.
I know that is you, Sobek. I know.
Okay, so I've got. Sorry, I haven't done a council test in a while, so I can re-roll any that did not generate a success in the original council test, and then from Comforting Lies, if I successfully treat one or more, I can add 3 points to Doom, and then they are healed instead of treated. So, council,
nice.
and we still have momentum, so I will take a momentum. 2 successes.
All right.
And I will give you the Doom so that is healed.
Excellent. All right.
And this is all under Comforting Lies. And so this is sort of just done in, we've made it. We found exactly what we're looking for. Everything is going to be fine after this. And it was 40 sleeps, but before the 41st, we found exactly what we needed. We are going to be able to get this done today. And, toxic positivity abounds.
The first thing you notice, well, not necessarily the first thing, but one of the things you quickly notice about this cavern is that this lichen that's in here actually gives off a sort of phosphorescence. So there's actually some ambient light. And then as you see a corridor leading out of this room, you actually see embedded within the walls are some sort of sorcerous light sources. So for the first time in 40 days, you're in a fairly well-lit chamber. Now, the way we're going to do this, it's not going to be your standard dungeon crawl. What I've got is basically I've devised 5 skills tests for you. Each one of you gets to do one test. The first test is a difficulty 1, and the last test is a difficulty 5. The skills you can choose to use from, and they can only be used once, are stealth, insight, observation, athletics, and lore. When it's your turn to make a skill test, if you successfully do it against the difficulty set for that, then you will narrate what it looks like for you using the skill to how you get everyone through this part of this underwater city. If you fail, other things might happen. So, who wants to be up first for the difficulty 1 skill test using either stealth, insight, observation, athletics, or lore?
I would like to be first because I'm bad at all of those. So the idea of me getting more than 1 success would be difficult. What are you guys bad at? And I'll just go for that one. I'll take
bad
one
at
for
everything but lore. I'm relatively decent with lore.
All right. So is anyone good at insight or observation?
Zamir would be either stealth or observation. One of those two is what he's...
Okay, I'll go insight. And I'll take a momentum just to be safe. Yep, that's a failure.
And a complication.
Oh my gosh.
That's exciting. Okay.
No.
You and your crocodile brain tried to figure this out.
It's exciting.
Yeah, I stayed in crocodile form and just went right into the next room.
So I'm going to go ahead and roll on this encounter table. So first, describe to us what it looks like as you're trying to use this skill to navigate and get everyone through this and explain how badly it goes wrong.
I think I didn't want to drop my shape shifting in case we found more aquatic areas. So I went slowly as a crocodile, looking at things from ground level rather than normal point of view, hoping that like I'd be able to see better with my crocodile vision. Turning out not. So I imagine that I just blundered right into something.
Okay. And let's see what happens here. Yeah, so you're moving through as a crocodile. And what's going to happen is for the complication, I'm going to say these guys get the drop on you, and you feel a coldness surrounding all of you. And you felt something like this, similar to this before in the Swamp of the Dead. And out of the corner of your eye, it's almost like you could see horrible figures, their skin sloughing off from having been thrown into the water, and the flesh just dripping off them. And it looks like ghostly eels moving in and out of their rib cages. They almost seem to be flowing underwater as they move in to strike at well, they're going to strike at the crocodile because he was the first one in. The Shugu, or drowned ghosts, come down and try to, in their incorporeal form, try to grab hold of this crocodile and hold it in place so it can truly understand the gift of drowning.
It's actually quite kind of them if you think about it, giving you a gift like that.
I thought so too.
Like, welcome to our home. Here's a gift. Normally it's the other way around. You bring the gift when you visit.
They got a complication.
Well, it's a ghostly embrace. Welcome to our home. Hugs for you.
Big hug. Big ghostly hug. But I gave you a point of momentum for the complication. I did succeed. So let's... 3 momentum. We're just going to go ahead and add that in as damage at the end. So not too bad. But it did get an effect. So that's 2, 3, 4, 7 points of damage. What kind of armor do you have right now?
None.
Okay. So you take a wound, take 7 points of vigor, and you take a wound.
Wound because it's over 5?
Yes. And what's your courage look like?
I have 5 courage. I was hoping you'd ask that because I've been looking to use that at some point.
So you feel this kind of terror start to clutch at you, but you've seen things, you've done things that are so much more horrible than this that it just kind of washes off of you. But now that these drowned ghosts have grappled the crocodile, you can all sort of see them. They were translucent before, but now you can get an idea of where they're at in relationship to the crocodile, as their incorporeal bodies seem to flow in and out of it, trying to pull it into the depths.
Start thrashing around.
Okay.
I would like to say this is the first time you've hit me and not taken out all of my vigor in one blow. I have 1 vigor left.
That's great.
You're ready to rock and roll.
This never happened.
This is when Aaron's like, "Oh, actually, wait, I counted that wrong."
Hold on, let me re-roll one of those dice. But okay, you guys are up. They have attacked. What do you do?
Roy is gonna take this staff that's been so useful today, and she's just gonna spin it, and try to bop these ghosts right upside the black of head.
I like it.
So melee. Do we have momentum? We have 3 momentum. All right. That is 3 successes.
Nice. So you've got 2 points of momentum.
Sorry, I didn't actually roll damage earlier, so now I actually have to roll damage. And we can spend stuff for this, right?
Yep, you've got 5 points of momentum. So there's several. You can spend 3 points of momentum for 3 extra points of damage. I mean, you've already done, so can't do your called shot, but you can do penetration to ignore
Can
the
I spend
soak.
audience for something with this?
You could spend 1 point of momentum and re-roll all the dice that did not hit. Or you could spend an audience dice if you want and roll additional die. That's fine.
For physical damage.
Okay. So you strike through, but because of their incorporeal nature, you feel slight purchase on it, like you think you did something, and some of it seems to wisp away, but the rest of the blow goes through and smacks Sobek on the forehead. Not enough to do damage, but definitely enough to, make everybody else chuckle a little bit. But they are still swarming on the crocodile. What was anybody else like to do?
Leaving the crocodile be, apparently. The crocodile is just going to succumb to the ghosts.
Will step in then, and he will, seeing the effect of Vora's attack, he will, on a whim, he's going to pull out the black feather fan, actually, and he's going to limp forward to help Roya, at the very least, since Roya did bandage him up a bit, and will, with this open fan, kind of swing away, not in the same manner that he would a dagger, but nonetheless trying to attack with it as best he can.
You do have 5 momentum.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna. Yeah, I think I'm gonna take I'm gonna take 1 momentum for the attack. Is it 1 difficulty, Aaron?
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna take 1 for the attack. So that should be 3 successes.
Nice.
Oh, excuse me, 4 successes.
So 3 extra point of momentum.
And I will go ahead and use what I just generated. So that's 3, right? So I'll use that on the damage. Obviously, I didn't do the exploit action this time, but this one does actually have vicious built in, just not intense. So I'm going to do 3 bonus momentum for the damage, and let me give that a roll.
Joke from chat while that's rolling. Block fawn for your black fan.
Yeah.
So 8.
I'll go ahead and I have the extra momentum, so I'll burn 2 momentum to change everything to an effect. It's just so useful. It's so that's 10 damage, piercing 2, stun, etc.
Describe how you destroy these drowned ghosts with this black feathered fan.
I think Zamir is having a bad day. He's having a bad few days, and he sees this crocodile get attacked. He is still wounded from his leg, and he gets up thinking, I have to do this myself. I have to do this myself. Fine, I will do this myself. And he pulls the fan out, and he starts like whipping it around in this, almost like he's kind of like just sweeping it through the air, kind of cutting it through the air, and in a way that he doesn't with the dagger. The dagger is just like this quick hit or like a quick throw. Like this is just like this swooping, swaying, almost like this the wind itself kind of moving about as he's kind of coursing it through them.
And as you shred through these ghosts, you see them split apart, and almost as if they're trying to escape the orbit of this fan. But tendrils of their ghostly energy, of the ectoplasm, is pulled back into the fan, and you see the feathers almost rustle as if a flapping on a bird's wing. And since you did 2 wounds of damage to them, the 2 wounds that you have that aren't fully healed are now fully healed. You've unlocked a property of the black feathered fan that you're
I
not
haven't
aware
really
of.
attacked with this much. Oh my goodness. Okay.
Ooh.
So it doesn't heal you, but if you have wounds and you do wounds, it will permanently remove those wounds.
Okay.
So if you've got treated wounds, and
Yeah,
you
I
do
treated.
wounds with the fan, then they become they're gone. So
Okay, perfect.
you're fully healed. And you feel that energy. I mean, when the fan
Yeah.
rakes through them, you feel it pulling into your body, and you feel those wounds that had been healed by Roya, like at a deep level, sealing up as if the spiritual energy of these ghosts are fortifying your body.
Yeah, he kind of like stumbles for a second, thinking because he's been a little bit off balance because of the leg, but then he realizes that his leg is a little sturdier than he was expecting. When he looks down, he sees the shredded leg, the sleeve of his pant leg that he got attacked with, but it looks like somehow whatever energies course through it, like the skin has kind of started to stitch up even more, and the redness of the attack has kind of started to fade a bit. And he just kind of thinks to himself, "That was a very good trade I made. A very good trade."
You hear the caws of crows in the back of your mind, almost as if the eyes of the Morrigan are upon you.
He'll steal a look at Aurelia at that point.
Your patron. When you speak with her again, give her my thanks.
And she nods because at this point, Aurelia's still kind of like really rather squirrely because we've got an entire fucking ocean above us right now, and somehow we're okay. And so you guys just kind of watch as she is like constantly on alert. She's like, every time it sounds like a pebble or something like dislodges from the ceiling and hits the ground, she's like flipping towards it with her bow.
Nice.
But I'll do the second roll moving forward unless somebody else would like to.
And of what is left, stealth, observation, of athletics, and lore, what would you like to take?
I would like to do observation if you guys are cool with that.
You're taking lead, Aurelia? Thank God. I thought we were all in silent agreement to follow Crocodile. I wasn't sure what that was about.
So this is a difficulty 2 skill check.
Okay.
And after that fight, I would drop my crocodile form. It's not helping me much.
And you do have 2 points of momentum.
You know, Drusus in Stygia, the crocodile is known as the animal of wisdom.
I will spend at least 1 momentum to try and get more momentum.
That's absolutely not true. I was just curious to see if you knew.
I would have believed you because you're my friend. I didn't know you would lie to me.
That's why I could not make you feel the fool any longer.
So describe to everyone how you're using observation to try to find the path through here and how you fail to succeed.
So it's kind of exactly like what I just described. Aurelia is past exhaustion because she has Sentry, so she only needs 4 hours of sleep. So she hasn't been sleeping well because she's been terrified of her Arroya being taken by these creatures and impregnated. And so she's kind of past the point of she really shouldn't have been trying to lead the group. And you guys just watch as she rushes forward and then she stops and she shoots an arrow into a corner at something that's not there. And then she has to go and pick up her arrow so she doesn't waste it. And it's just long and winding.
So you shoot that arrow in the corner and you go to pick it out. And as you pull it out, the mortar that was sealing up that area is old and crumbles, and there is enough pressure on the outside of that on the outside of this section of this building that water floods in, and you guys are quickly find yourselves underwater, and you don't know for how long you're going to have to hold your breath. So Aurelia, roll a d6 for me.
Oh my god, I don't want this.
Roll low. Please roll low. Please roll low.
4. So the whole passage is flooded. But you see the way forward. You know the direction you have to go, but you're swimming now. So round 1, difficulty 1, resistance checks.
Oh fuck. My brawn is not good. This is Rip Aurelia.
And unfortunately, Sobek is no longer a crocodile, so you have to make the test too.
Gosh darn it.
Okay, let's go a little slow so people can use momentum if they want to. Roya
late.
got 3 successes. Yeah, you're fine. So Roya's fine. Everybody's fine so far. Sobek is also fine.
I can't look.
And
Oh
Aurelia
my
is
God,
fine for
Ashley.
round 1.
Oh no.
So you guys are swimming along. You were able to get a lung full of air, but you're starting to feel the pressure. You're starting to feel that burn, and you don't see air anywhere. You're still just swimming through these flooded corridors. I now need a difficulty 2 resistance check from everyone. You have 5 points of momentum at the moment, one at a time. Aurelia first. You have momentum if you want to use it. Fails. You take 2 points of fatigue. So that's that little circle up above the vigor, reducing your maximum vigor. But you're still swimming. You're not down yet. Now, if you get to the point where you're at 0 vigor due to this, let me know. Drusus, you're up.
I'll take momentum.
Okay, you've got 4 at the moment.
3 successes, 2 momentum.
3 successes, 1 momentum back because it's difficulty 2. So you're at 4 momentum. Sobek, you see Drusus is going along fine, but you see Aurelia start to falter.
Would I have been able to cast my spell to turn back into a crocodile after swimming for a bit?
Double the difficulty on it, and I'll let you try to do it while you're underwater.
All right.
But difficulty 4.
+1 for my wound then, right? So it'd be difficulty 5.
That is correct.
Or momentum.
Yeah,
And
I'm
you
gonna
give me
need
Doom.
some momentum.
Yeah, you might have fortune, so
Fortune, yeah.
I know where everyone is.
I'll
on that.
spend 1 fortune and 2 momentum.
8
There we
successes. You're fine.
my
Yeah, you turn
gosh.
back into a crocodile. You get 3 momentum back. So you guys see Sobek contorts and then just back into this crocodile, swimming along easily, effortlessly. Roya, you've got 6 momentum. You're all full. Difficulty 2 swim check.
All right. And swim is athletics,
Resistance.
right?
I'm sorry, it's a resistance.
Okay.
You're to hold your breath, basically.
All right. So, and this is difficulty 2?
Difficulty 2.
Okay. So I will spend 2 momentum. No way.
So you
1
take
success. That's a fail. And
You
I
take-
didn't get any momentum back.
you take 2 points of fatigue to your vigor as you're beginning to feel your lungs burn. You're starting to falter a little bit. You know, you've never had to swim this long before. You're weighted down by your staff. And both you and Aurelia start to fall back a little bit. Zamir, you've got 4 points of momentum.
Okay. Zabir is thrashing around, frustrated that he is beneath the water, but he will take 2 momentum and difficulty 2 and give it a go. Boy, this game loves me with my natural 20s.
Wow.
So many
That
20s.
is a fail.
Wow. Okay. But no, so with the complication, you end up taking 3 points of fatigue instead of 2. But because I made everybody suffer through that break, we're only going to go through 2 rounds of almost drowning. And at the beginning of the 3rd round, you actually push through another one of these mirrored surfaces and you're back out into breathable air in a very wide, long corridor. It seems to be leading deeper into the city. Who would like to try their hand at athletics, lore, or stealth?
I'll try lore if that makes sense, because that's the only one of those things I'm even remotely good at. So I am putting on my thinking cap that is somehow going to tell me which direction we should go.
She's like, I see moss is growing on this side. I read in a book once.
Exactly.
So it's like probably like you're looking at you're seeing architecture that reminds you of other architecture, and like, okay, well, I think I probably have an idea of how this is going to get us deeper into the city.
We're in the pavilion, and we want to get.
So it's difficulty 3.
And we've got 3 momentum.
You have 3 momentum, and you can always give me Doom.
I am going to spend my final fortune because this is an important roll. So fortune and 2 momentum. See if we can keep banking momentum. Five successes.
Nice. So describe how you successfully use the lore to navigate deeper towards where you think you'll find the well that you're looking for.
So this is definitely about Roya is relatively well traveled. So she kind of has an idea of like every place has its own style, but to some extent there is a function to layout. And you put this before this and you put this far away from this. And so that's what she's using, kind of all of that kind of like well-traveled information to, kind of logic her way through what we've seen so far and what we likely should be seeing next.
And you wind your way deeper into the city, and this along this very long corridor with these great pillars. You do start to notice, though, that the architecture bears some resemblance to some that you've seen, in Corinthia, perhaps, and elsewhere, but it's not quite right. The angles aren't quite right. Corners seem to disappear into themselves. Every time you look too hard at an area that doesn't quite fit, you start to feel a little sick in your stomach, and your eyes pull away. There's something very wrong with this city. And you're beginning to feel the effects. But there are 2 people left. There's athletics and stealth on the table.
I'll take athletics here.
Who would like to go difficulty 4 athletics?
Go for it, my friend. Go for it, my friend. You can do this.
Difficulty 4. Holy. I'll get
Take
fortune
as much as
and
the momentum as you would like.
Yeah, I'll do fortune and 1 momentum.
All right.
Oh, complication.
Complication, and you failed.
I failed, yeah.
Explain how you're using athletics and how it trips you up.
Yeah, athletics-wise, it's just whatever obstacle, whatever path is in the way, just brute forcing past it. So over walls, just climbing them. Not really thinking, just using brute strength.
And Kool-Aid Man through a wall.
And everyone is trying to keep up with you, but they're having a hard time because not everyone is quite as athletic as you are. And as you jump over one of these low walls, you land down in a cell. Not like a closed cell, like a monk's cell, like a sleeping cell. And in there, seated on what looks like it must have been a stone cot at some point, is an ancient warrior in armor. And right as you land in front of it, because you got a complication, it is going to strike out at you as this legendary fallen, this ghost of a warrior who's been trapped here for untold centuries, takes affront at you using his bedroom as a playground, and his ghostly blade is going to strike out at you. And I'm going to use a point of doom here.
May I defend or parry this?
You cannot, because it was an unexpected attack.
Okay.
But he got a complication, so I'm going to say you can. His complication, he moved slow enough and in this cramped quarters that you're able to give me a point of doom and attempt to resist this attack. Or react to the attack, that is.
Yeah, I'll try to dodge it.
Okay. So we got 5 successes. So you need to exceed that number.
That'll be a tough task, but I will try with
Well, the
3
difference
momentum.
and the difference would
Believe.
reduce. So, yeah, by all means, use it.
I got 2.
2 successes?
No.
Okay, so that reduces his total net successes to 3, so 2 points of momentum. So this ghostly blade, you move to parry it, but he was clearly an excellent swordsman. And as you dodge out of the way, his blade follows you, and he actually slides his blade down the length of your blade to gain some leverage himself as he pushes your blade down and strikes at your chest with his. And I will use my 2 momentum just for bonus damage. So you take 7 points of physical damage, 9 points of damage. Do you have armor on your torso? I'm assuming you do.
Yeah, I got 3 there.
Okay, so you take 6 points of damage. So you take a wound and 6 points of vigor damage.
I have a talent here for resistance, just a scratch. So it'll take 7 points of damage instead of the original 5, since I have 2 rings in it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so
Does say vicious, Aaron. Not
yeah,
sure.
yeah,
Did you
that counted
calculate
in.
Okay.
Yeah, that counted in. So it was a total of 9. Your armor took it down to 6, and you're saying your talent takes it down to 4?
Doesn't take the damage down, it just increases the threshold of wounds.
Okay, so your wound threshold is what now?
It's 7.
7? Okay, so you just take the 6 points of vigor damage.
Oh, that's nice.
As this ghostly blade slices into you. At the moment, you're the only one here. Everyone else will have to take this turn to get into this space or get near this space. I will say that this is a fairly enclosed space, and only 2 people can actually be in here with this legendary fallen at one time. But Sir Drusus Jordan, you are up.
Take a quick scan around to see if the only way out is up the hole I fell in.
No, there's an open doorway that leads out into the corridor. So you can, it's like a small bedroom, and you can go straight out that way if you'd like.
Yeah,
And you can easily see through him. He's obviously a spectral enemy of some sort.
Yeah, after taking that hit, I'm gonna withdraw from him if possible.
Okay. So you pull back and you make your way out into the corridor. The rest of you see Drusus quickly backing out. You guys you took a different path. You didn't jump over the walls. You continued down the hallway, and you see following him out a ghostly apparition in ancient Atlantean armor, wielding a great blade, freezing cold coming off of it, as it scowls and continues to pace towards Drusus.
So you have made a
Line
friend.
of sight?
Hmm?
You
are-
line of sight?
You have line of sight. You are in close, but not in arm's length. So if you wanted to physically attack it, you'd have to move up. If you want to do a ranged attack, you're within close range.
Oh, okay, yeah. I want to do a ranged attack. And then since I don't need to move, I want to use my talent where I can load and do the quick release. So bonus d20 plus 1 CD damage for each load spent. So it'd be 2 loads.
Nice.
May your arrow fly true.
Cool. So 4 successes, 3 momentum.
You can really
Okay.
use one of them like ogre one shots here, Aurelia.
Right?
We'll see. And then I will.
And since it was not even aware of you, it's not going to attempt to dodge at all. It is not even. It's solely focused on Drusus.
Yeah, and I believe it was 2 or 3 momentum to disarm.
It is for this guy it would be 2 because it's a one-handed longsword.
Okay, yeah. So I'd like to use 2 of that momentum to disarm him.
Okay.
And then I would like to buy 2 bonus dice mo for damage.
Okay.
And then I would like to re-roll
Using a point of momentum for that?
Yes, please. I'm using my trait.
Oh, okay.
So 11 damage.
Wow. And piercing, so it's piercing 3. So it bypasses most of his armor, takes 9 points of damage. So that is a wound. Not quite 2. It is. So your arrow.
So you learned before that you may. Never mind. No, I don't.
Okay. So your arrow just flies through and basically flies through his ghostly hand that's holding the sword and basically rips his ghostly arm off, and his sword clatters to the ground. It sounds like it's like an echo of what a sword would sound like if it hit the ground. But it is he does appear to be disarmed. Would any of the rest of you, and at that point his head turns. I mean, kind of turns all much too far that it should, and stares down the corridor at you all.
Roya will try to kind of use her trusty staff. That's done her reasonably well today.
Okay, so you're going to move up to arm's length and attack?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that is a thing that I am doing.
Excellent.
Possibly not, but it is a thing that needs doing. There we go. Okay, so we've got some. We don't really have much momentum. Goodness. Okay. Well, I'll take the 1 and hope that good things happen when I do this. Hey, 3 successes,
Nice.
2 momentum.
Nice.
So I will. What am I gonna do with that momentum? I want to bank 1, and then I'll spend the other 4. Let's see. Definitely don't have a secondary target. I will then withdraw with the other one.
Okay.
So let me hit my damage here. 6 physical damage.
Okay. So your staff comes down. You don't feel it give much of a bite as it passes through its incorporeal body, but it does catch at the last second, and it lets out sort of a ghostly groan as you seem to have done some damage to it.
And
As
I
you pull back.
Yes.
That intense cold almost seems to follow you, almost as if he's trying to pull your body heat away from you, but you manage to step back.
Okay. Who's up next?
Sobek, as a crocodile, will stumble over his short, stubby legs and allow Zamir to go first.
God dang. Is he in terms of range to Zamir? What range would we call
Close.
it? Close. All right. I mean, I don't want to get up close to him. I don't want to get up in there. But Zamir will. Oh goodness. All right.
Spend the momentum to back up like Roya did.
No, he'll just take it and.
No.
That's that. Okay. He's gonna. All right. Yeah, he's going to get up in there and he will bring the fan out again, I think. Cause I think it's if I'm not using the exploit combo, it's just better to use the fan. So I think that's what he's going to do. So yeah, he'll swing away. His weapons, he's disarmed, right? So his guard and stuff's not an issue. Okay.
That is correct.
All right. So I'll do. You have 2 momentum, right? I'll go ahead and use those. Difficulty on the attack. Sorry.
The difficulty's 1.
Okay, here we go. Let's see. That is 5 successes.
Nice.
So that'll be. I'll probably end up just spending that on damage, I think. So yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and spend it all on damage. So, yeah, I'm not sure if I did that right, but I didn't do it right. It's so weird how that works. All right. And I really would like him to die. I'll take a audience die if that's okay. Just one. Just increase my damage here. And then I will swing away with my damage is... And I will... I'll give you 2 doom. So I just dropped you 2. It's 21 to change all that into effects. So that's 7. So it'd be 7 effects. So 7 damage, 14 damage for vicious, stun, piercing, etc.
2. Okay. So your fan comes through, and much like it did with the drowned ghosts, you tear through this legendary specter, this fallen warrior, and you shred its essence to pieces, and the fan just sucks it all in. And within moments, you're standing in this hall alone. The essence of this specter has been dispersed and absorbed by the fan. And then
I've not seen you use that fan often. It is quite useful.
It was a gift. Well, it was a trade. A far better trade than I perhaps realized.
And he's like kind of just staring at it curiously.
Often these things have a price, though.
So he's very suspicious and paranoid.
I suspect at some point your patron, she will reveal that price to me. Hopefully it will not be too expensive. Now,
If she doesn't, I'll ask.
what say we find our way out of this accursed place?
You can take the lead, Zamir.
Perhaps
Drusus,
it's
you were
better-
just bounding around too much.
Yes, maybe a touch quieter, and you would not attract such friends.
So
Zamir.
I guess Zamir, it was a difficulty 5. Is that what it is?
Difficulty 5 stealth check.
Thanks, guys.
Give him doom.
Well, I am
You've got
gonna give
momentum
him.
from that, right?
I use it on damage.
Oh, that's right.
So actually, I ended up doing something like 18 damage, I think, because I forgot the momentum damage. I'm gonna give you 3 doom to trigger my one of my talents. Actually, make your own luck, as he will kind of. He's tired, exhausted, frustrated, paranoid, and he starts limping forward, realizing he's actually doesn't need to limp anymore, but he kind of shakes his head at why he was doing that. And then he starts leading the way, and he like kind of mutters under his breath, like,
Madam, now would be a good time to help us here.
and so he's going to get the benefit of a fortune point by giving that doom over by using his making luck. Yeah. And then difficulty 5, huh? Okay. Yeah, I'll give you more doom. I'm gonna have to, right? If it's difficulty 5.
Really, what's the difference between 22 and 24 doom?
I'll give you 2.
true.
I'll give you 2 more doom. I'll fill it up.
All right.
Yeah, might as well. All right, here we go.
I agree.
Rip it.
Here come the natural 20s. Ready? Everyone ready to see him?
You got this.
Oh my God.
There's one, but I did
Just
get
one.
7 successes though.
You
I
got
did get
7 successes.
That's
So,
amazing.
I'm
Holy
so
fuck.
good at this game. I don't know what it is. I've rolled so
That is-
many natural 20s in this game.
That is crazy. I'm just going to take a point of doom. Get me up to 29. So what happens is you're stealthing along. You're moving quietly. You find a seam. It looks like this wall keeps going forward and down this corridor, but you actually see it's an optical illusion, and you see there's another corridor that splits off from it. And you work your way down that, and it opens up into a large chamber. And in there, you see a hammock swung between 2 posts, and you see a pack, and you see a small cooking fire, and you see a man, an oddly dressed man, in fabrics you've never seen before, some brown form of pants and some leather shoes so finely made you've never recognized them, and some sort of vest with a shirt that fastens up with some sort of buttons up the front. And he's sitting there, he looks up and he goes, "Well, you're a sight for sore eyes." And he's speaking in a language you don't recognize, but somehow you understand. "My friends, come, have a seat. I have fish, of course, but, well, if you're down here, you've probably been eating fish for quite a while, but it's the best I can offer you at the moment. My name is Ricard Pickman, and I've been waiting for somebody to come along who might be able to help me out of a slight pickle." And with that, you see around his neck is a silver key. And he's holding it in one hand. He's like, "I've got a way to get us out of here. But we've got a bit of a problem that we're going to have to deal with first." And that's where we're going to leave it tonight. I want to thank everybody for watching. I want to thank the players for surviving the trials of the sunken city of Sarcomand, at least getting to this point where they meet Ricard Pickman. And who
wherever
knows what will happen
Zamir
next
sits
week.
down, Sobek's just gonna like curl in like a half circle around him as a crocodile.
Pickman looks down at the crocodile. He's like, "Is this your familiar, perhaps?"
This is Lord Sobek. Do not fear. He will not bite you.
Sobek as
I let
in
out a
the
rumble.
crocodile god?
Yes, isn't that so interesting?
Yeah. Well, I suppose indeed it is. But yes, clearly you all look like you could use some rest. We'll sleep, eat, relax. I'll fill you in on all the details in a little bit, and if we're lucky, we'll get out of here.
Well, if luck is the need, then we will be fine.
Luck and potentially a lot of very, very serious killing. But luck is definitely going to factor in. Luck is the only thing that saved me when I came through in the first place. But it's a story for later. I'll let you guys rest first.
Now we rest.
And now you rest.
left and you came back?
No, I didn't. I left the monastery of Ling through the Well of Dreams and ended up here in Sarcomand. And I was going to go back, but there's some problems with going back. I'll tell you about that a little bit later.
Oh, okay.
Thought we said we were resting.
No, seriously,
Join
everybody stop
tomorrow.
asking him questions, okay? Jeez.
It's like we're ending the session here, and we're like, no, we're going to another session.
We're going long. All right. I hope everybody had a good time. I hope everybody watching it had a good time. Sorry about the hiccup on my end with my computer telling me to go to hell. But fortunately, it didn't last too long. So, quick plugs for Garblag for next week while I'm here in the driver's seat still. Next Tuesday, Millie will be back with Coriolis. Wednesday, you can see me back at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time playing some Warhammer 40K Death Watch as a Blood Angel Space Marine, dealing with some, crazy Xenos threats as you do in the name of the Emperor. And then on Thursday at the same time, you can find Lewis continuing Garblag's The One Ring campaign with the Ballad of the Bardings for at least a couple more weeks, I think. And then Pete will be returning for more Traveler. That's all I got. It's all you, Jeff.
All right. So next up for us is tomorrow, Saturday. We got our usual One Ring game. You can catch most of us here in that game. We are nearing the end. We're getting very close to our to the finale of that epic campaign. Single digit episodes left. I would guess somewhere in the neighborhood of 5 to 7 or so left. So there's not that many. Then on Monday, we have set our schedule for our Monday games, but we've been doing a lot of one shots while we waited for some schedules to clear up so we can do our campaign, start some smaller campaigns. So on the 18th is our next real campaign starter, and we're going to be doing some Monster of the Week. The 25th, we're going to be doing some Fragged Empire. We're going to alternate between those just like we used to do. with Holler and Call of Cthulhu. But this Monday, the 11th, not sure yet. Tuesday, however, Aaron, I know you already did some plugs, but you're running something on Tuesday. If you want to tell us a little bit about that.
We'll be running a little one shot of Teenage Mutant Dirtbags. And if you think it's a ripoff of Teenage Mutant Turtles, you're right. But it's a fun little game, and we're gonna have some slapstick Three Stooges sort of enjoyment with it.
Fantastic. I can't wait. And then the Tuesday after that, the 19th, is the Talk Like a Pirate Day, where I will be hopping into the seat to run some Pirate Borg. But then on the 26th, Steven, he gets back in here, and we're starting up our new campaign. Steven, what's the new campaign on Tuesday is going to be?
Marvel Multiverse RPG. We're going to play as some X-Men. Those of you that have seen Kipser play in some of these one-shots and on Tuesdays, you might know that she's an X-Men enthusiast, and she basically pulled out a gun and told us we're playing this. So that's our only option.
It's true. It's actually true. We do need to get Kipser. Oh, you spelled her name wrong. That's why. There it is. As an X-Men enthusiast. Yep. Let's see. After that, let's see. Next Thursday, we should be back to Die. We are nearing the end of that, or at least possible end or possible chapter end, something like that. But very important episode next week. And then next Friday, we'll be back to Delta Green as we are alternating between Conan and Delta Green on Fridays. So that's the schedule. Lots of stuff coming down the pike. If you haven't subscribed yet and followed the channel here on Twitch and subscribed over on YouTube, please consider doing so. And you can see a bunch of the games that we've been running lately, lots of one-shots and weird stuff, but we still have a couple years worth of games that hopefully something there is useful to you. If you're trying to learn a new game, and you want to see other folks play it and screw up and kind of learn the rules, that's pretty much what we do here. So thanks everyone for coming out tonight. Thanks to those of you who threw bits and subs and stuff out and gave us a hype train early on. We are going to go ahead and rate our good friends over at the Defenders of Cobalt. So go ahead and follow us with that. And otherwise, have a great rest of your night. Bye-bye.
Good night.
Bye.